Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to My Combat Channel News. I'm the Yak Man, Ron Yakovetti.
Fabiano Irra, the king of armbar.
King of the armbar. We're here to give you the best in mixed martial arts and combat sports news, starting off with a couple stories that we were really interested in and looking forward to talk about on this particular episode.
Yeah, this is going to be a very exciting weekend. Georges St. Pierre is back, confirmed. Yeah. So that's what we're going to go over today. I'm excited about that. You know, being a little while, 19 months out.
Yes, he was out for like 19 months. Last fight against Jake Shields, to what many thought, at least I thought, was a lackluster performance for both of them. Yeah. I didn't think they both particularly looked their best in that fight. And it was a big build-up, and then I thought it fizzled.
There's a lot of questions in the air right now. Like, a lot of people ask, you know, if he's going to be coming back 100%, you know. He's still going to be the same Georges St. Pierre, the Rush.
Yeah.
You know, some people even say that he lost a little passion for the sport. You know, being the whole star hit him too hard. I believe it's just one way to find out. I personally think he's gonna be fine. You know,
and his opponent, by the way,
yeah,
the natural-born killer,
exactly,
Carlos Condit. Is he the guy to bring it out of him? Because that was what I liked about the Nick Diaz fight that never happened. Diaz, love him or hate him, he's going to fight you. He's going to be in your grill the whole time. You're not going to run from him. You're not going to lay and pray. You're going to have to fight him. I think because Condit fought Diaz now, I think you're going to see that same type of fight, at least almost as aggressive, if not comparable.
They have amazing record. You know, both fought very, you know, tough opponents. But they're going to have to, you know, give up the questions that is in the air. Who is the champion?
Yeah, just in case you forgot who he was since you haven't seen him for a few months. Here's some vintage Rush right here.
Karate Kid that looked like in the beginning.
He comes from a karate background, yeah, as a martial artist, as many folks in MMA have. And he's an athlete. I think that's the difference. He's one of those guys, he's not just a fighter. He is an absolute super athlete. And I think those are the guys who are starting to define the upper tier of the sport. The Anderson Silvas, the St. Pierres, the guys who are these super athletes, John Jones, they're not just well-rounded fighters. They, you would imagine, in any other sport would excel because of their athleticism.
What I like about him as well is like he always walk in you know, amazing shape. Yeah. You know, it's good for the sport. You know, it's not like, well, in that weight division normally, you know, the guys, they are in good shape, but he's in amazing shape, and that,
yeah, you can see it right here,
brought up, you know, a lot of females fans for the sport as well, you know, because of that.
And that fight particular right here too with Hardy, something that St. Pierre has done, and he did it in that fight with Dan Hardy. Something he's been known to do is he seems to take what you're good at and beat you with it.
He did it to Fitch. He stood a lot.
He did it to Hardy. He outstruck him. He seems to take what your strength is and use it to beat you.
Well, on that level that we got right now, if you don't study your opponent, that means you're dead.
Do you think the word is out in the welterweight division with that particular thing that he takes your strength and uses against you? And even the losses he had, we were talking about this before, Hughes beat him by submission, his one loss.
Yes.
He beats him by submission.
By submission, exactly.
Serra beats him by KO. What does he do when he fights him in the rematch?
Knock him out.
Is that something, is that demoralizing as a fighter? Like if you're preparing to fight St. Pierre, and obviously you fought before, do you think about that? Like, man, I have a good jiu-jitsu game. Is he going to take that away from me?
I think it's a little, way more than that. I think he's mentally very strong and very competitive. Like, you know, that type of, like, when, you know, when you're training and you get a high kick on the head and you want to pay back the high kick, you know, like, or if somebody go ahead and, you know, get you in the, you know, and like in a weird position, you want to pay back, or a body shot. Look like on the fights. Normally, when the fighter get a very strong body shot, and if he feels that, he wants to pay back. You know, that's how the level of competition, level mentally, you know, competitor you are. So I think he's very, very competitive. A point of like, okay, he knocked me out. You know, I want to go back. I don't want to submit him. I want to knock him out. You know, and pay back. You know, it's just giving, you know, more credit.
So you're saying he also has that psychological weapon too,
Oh, yeah.
where he gets you to want to do something that maybe you're going to make a mistake or that he's better at, and at the same time he makes you cautious too by being a little bit afraid of what he may counter or.
That's what I think. Yeah. Like so. Anyway, you know, it's gonna be a very exciting Montreal event.
Yeah, and speaking of very exciting, if we can now travel south of a few borders and go down to, I believe, is going to happen in Brazil.
Yes.
Frankie Edgar, now Koch out, Frankie Edgar stepping in to fight Jose Aldo, which coming from New Jersey, let me say this, will do anything.
I know. But
Edgar's tough, but I mean,
Edgar,
you give him, you know, step up and fight Jose Aldo and he's there.
Good luck, my friend, because Jose Aldo is not a joke.
No.
And fight him in his hometown is not gonna be easy.
That again is, you know, I think that's some of the cojones of being being a Jersey boy. He's just willing to step up. He doesn't care whose backyard it's in. I talked to Manny Gambirian at the MMA Awards show right after he fought him like a year or so ago. Manny Gambirian would fight Brock Lesnar if he had to. He's afraid of nothing. Great competitor. He said to me, Jose Aldo is a phenom.
Yeah.
He said that guy is a phenom. So the question is, does the movement, the radical style, the unorthodoxy, the in and out, circling, does that style give Aldo problems, or is he just one of those super athletes who's going to cope with it, he's going to read it, and he's going to just bide his time, and boom, Edgar's out?
He will. And again, you know, like because the fight is in Brazil, is everything on Aldo's side. You know, like jet lag, he doesn't have jet lag, he's going to be home, he's going to be feeling okay. And then, you know, Edgar is going to be jet lag, he's going to do well with the food in Brazil, you know what I mean? It's going to be depression. It's like, you don't have no idea. Like, fights in Brazil is loud, you know? People like to scream, people like to make noises, and it's going to be a lot of pressure.
Sounds a lot like New Jersey, too.
Yeah, well, if he can take that part and take, you know, that can help him.
If you just bring some polluted air to Brazil, it'd be just like New Jersey.
And again, you know, Jose is a main event, and you know, for the belt, and the whole thing. I can't wait.
Speaking of can't wait, unfortunately, sometimes you have to. We'll be going to break. When we come back, more My Combat News with the Yak Man, King of the Armbar, Fabiano Iha, next. Welcome back to My Combat News. And just to remind you folks, if you haven't already known, we are live and interactive now, so you can call in to 1-855-490-2146 or Skype us at MYCC News. Again, MYCC News, or call us 855-490-2146. And we're giving something pretty cool away, are we not?
We do. We give tickets away from the K1 fight. The K1 fight is going to be in Los Angeles on the Sport Arena on Saturday, on the 8th. So give us a call or Skype us. We're giving tickets away.
Right, so start calling in, Skyping in. We'll get to that just in a little bit, give away some tickets. And let's talk about something else that we probably, as having fought in the UFC earlier on, you probably never thought you would have seen.
No, I'm glad I'm seeing.
I'm sure you are, but it's also a scary thought to think about the quality of. We're talking about kids fighting in mixed martial arts at a very young age and developing skills that you know, and I talked about, pretty sharp.
Yeah, I was at that fight live. I commented that fight. Actually, we actually like showed that fight on Filmon.com live on that day, and I was very surprised of the level of the technique of these kids. It's amazing how you know, they can get the moves done very well. I believe because they're very flexible in their age, you know. So you see some nice high kicks, flying arm bars, very good technical skills. Look, check this out. This kid is gonna go into, you know, like high kicks and stuff, you know, nice takedown and straight to a submission.
Yeah, you see some of the striking there.
Oh, yeah.
Is this what happens when they cancel the Muppet Show? Now kids are in the cage battling it out.
Yeah, I think it have a lot to do with the whole video games too. You know, like they at home playing video games. Now they say, oh, you know, I want to make that happen. Look, nice takedown, side control, and you know, on that fight actually is a little bit longer. They went straight to the armbar.
For video games, you think kids are home going, if I can beat Forrest Griffin here, I'm getting in the cage. But great to see kids doing that too. And again, there are rules involved, which you would hope there would be for. It's under the guises of the California Amateur Mixed Martial Arts Organization called CAMO. Amateur MMA, new in California. CAMO really has the lion's share of it. The Athletic Commission does it, but the CAMO rules and protocols are a little different. And more promoters are going to CAMO than the CSAC. And what are some of those rules? We were talking about that.
Yeah, they have to be 8 years and older. They most wear headgear. The shin guard is optional. And what I like the most is the difference of age cannot be more than 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, on that, when you're young, you know, like 2
and
years.
10 pounds.
Or it can be a lot of different. Very safe, you know, like it's very, I'm glad to see that, you know, like they make this sport, you know, like a step up.
Right. Athlete safety, always paramount in any MMA event. But when it's kids, you imagine they would step it up even more so than pros and amateurs. And now you're talking about children who are also, you know, amateurs in doing so. Also, one thing to point out that's very important, then we'll move on, is any swelling or bleeding that happens in one of those fights, and they stop it.
Stop, by the way.
Not including egos, of course. Egos may swell.
And I saw too, they don't let the submission go all the way. Like if they see it's already deep, they stop right there. They don't wait for the tap. They don't wait for the tap. So we got a call.
Yes. We're not going to wait for the tap either, too. We said to call in. We had K1 tickets. I believe we have somebody on the line, I'm being told. So can we get the caller to tell us who you are and where you're from?
It's Megan from Santa Clarita.
Ah, and how you doing, Megan?
Good. How are you doing?
We're doing okay. What would you like to say to us?
I want to win some K1 tickets.
Right to the point. Megan's right to the point.
So Megan, just because we are nice here, we're gonna make a very simple question for you. So make sure that you get that done right. So where the fight is gonna be?
The Los Angeles Sports Arena.
Nice.
Is she right? She's right.
She's right.
All right.
100% right.
I've been taking consent.
There we go. So you got 2 tickets. So stay on the line, and somebody's gonna get your information, and you got 2 tickets.
And with the money you saved on those tickets, use that to sue your cell phone carrier for better quality signal. It's a little hard to hear you, but we got you, and you're going to get your tickets. So don't go off the line. We're going to get your information now off camera, and then you will get your tickets. And you folks watching are going to get your monies or tickets worth now, because we're going to go to something that involves numbers, fighters, and very little clothing.
It is now time for the MMA welterweight top 10. Number 10, Jake Shields, UFC. Number 9, John Finch, UFC. At number 8, we have Josh Koscheck, UFC. Dropping to number 7, we have Jake Allenberger, after his loss to Martin Kelly. And number 6, Nick Diaz, UFC. We're halfway there. At number 5, we have Rory McDonald, UFC. At number 4, Martin Kampmann, UFC. And at number 3, we have Johnny Hendricks, UFC. And at number 2, we have Carlos Condit, interim champion of the UFC. And drumroll please, number 1 of the top 10 welterweight champions, George St. Pierre, ruling this division now for 4 years. That's the MMA welterweight top 10. Thank you for joining me, Michelle Blanchard, at My Combat Channel.
Thanks, Michelle, and I see you tomorrow for the middleweight.
Yes, great job she did on that. And I like how she said ruling the division for 4 years like a sitting president. So the question is, will he get voted out by Condit? Who doesn't want to see that?
Everybody wants to see it.
Everyone sees it. Here's something else everybody wants to see. We have a special guest in studio tonight for an interview, a female fighter, mixed martial artist. She has an interesting background in fighting. I've had the opportunity to interview her in the past. She's fought for the likes of Fatal Femmes, Hook and Shoot, to name just two, of course.
Forget about that. She's beautiful, and she's
beautiful.
with us in the next block.
Don't go anywhere. Coming up next, Janelle Marquez in studio. Next on My Combat News. Welcome back, folks, to My Combat Channel News. This is the part of the show where we really enjoy getting to know a fighter and a personality from the sport of mixed martial arts. Joining us today, an old friend. Good to have you here, Janelle Marquez.
Hi, how's it going?
So thanks, first of all, for coming up and being a part of the show. We're excited to have you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for inviting me.
And you trained today.
I did.
And then somehow thought, let me go sit down and talk to these two knuckleheads
Exactly.
in front of a window on Beverly Hills. So,
Exactly. I just got done actually teaching one of my classes, and a couple of the guys that I train, and they were pushing my car today, and I thought, you know, well, I guess I got to finish training by driving the car.
Yeah.
We talk about women's MMA, still fairly new, not in the UFC yet. One of the criticisms is the talent pool simply not deep enough. But really, isn't it getting deeper all the time?
There is a lot of talent out there. There is just not as many of a number of females that fight. So if you had as many girls that fight as there was guys, then obviously the talent pool wouldn't be as big as either. But as more people find out about the sport, then the sport grows, and then more people want to become involved. And you have people transitioning from wrestling, judo, boxing, kickboxing, all these different backgrounds, and then so you have somebody that's already an athlete, and then they start transitioning into a well-rounded mixed martial artist. And matter of fact, I don't even tell people I fight. I just tell them I'm an athlete, because they don't understand. Oh, you fight, you're brutal. I'm like, no, I am not trying to be a boy.
They probably don't believe you too, because there's not that many good-looking girls there.
You considered fighting. At what stage was the sport developed? Where was MMA at that time?
Most people didn't even know about MMA. If you think about it, 14 years ago, like, UFC, people really didn't even know what UFC was. It was still underground, bare knuckle brawling, and such. But
the fun about that times was the long time that took me, or it took you probably, to explain to people
what it was.
Right.
You know, because either you get people saying,
funny.
I don't have no idea what that is, or you get that, oh, that's like the crazy guys that fight in the cage like a dog. You know, that's the second one. And then, of course, a small amount of people say, oh, yeah, that's the UFC. That's the new stuff, you know. And now, this day, you can get anybody. That's cool about the sport, you know. It's cool about that. There's way more female fighters, way more kids, you know, and it's become a sport. That was the dream. My dream, since I started, was that to become a sport, not a fight.
A sport.
A sport. And I think we got that, you know.
What I find fascinating is for you to have already gripped on to wanting to do that.
Right.
Before it was even, women's MMA wasn't even a thought at that time, right?
no, not at all. And like, you know, when I walked in there, I was like, yeah, I want to fight, but I really didn't know I was going to be fighting. And actually, my very first fight, I found out the night before that I was going to be fighting, and kind of just got thrown in there. But it was a great experience. I fought really well. A lot of different, hey, look. That actually was a short notice fight. That was 14 days notice.
Which event was that?
Fatal Femmes.
I was there.
Yeah. Yes.
I interviewed you at that event. That was when I became one of your fans. Was at that time.
Yeah, and I fought Megumi Yabashita, who had 30 some odd fights at the time, and my coach Josh said, you know, jump when I say jump, run when I say run, do what I tell you to do, and you're gonna win. And he goes, this girl's really hard. You're not probably gonna be able to submit her. She has a lot of fights. She's gonna probably try to do some dirty stuff. And I was like, you know, and he's like, oh, she was on the Japanese judo national team, and she's gonna try to throw you. I'm like, just because I wasn't on the judo national team for Japan doesn't mean that I won't judo throw her. And I actually ended up throwing her.
It was a rethrow, right?
Yes, it was a rethrow.
Ah,
it
see
wasn't.
that?
It wasn't that one, the suplex,
Good
but it was a
memory.
rethrow.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, Time Magazine put it on the front page of their website.
It was amazing because I remember seeing the throw and everybody reacting to it, and then the rethrow. I was like, whoa! It
Right.
was really cool.
And you can even see my manager in the background of the picture going. So it was, it was
cool.
all around good fight. So it was a good move. I actually moved to California for that fight.
Wow.
So yeah, it was good. It was fun. I actually do want to transition. You know, I had I spoke with you a little bit about it, and a couple of people know, like I had back surgery, and I wasn't able to quite come back 100%.
To fight.
To fight and train the way I would need to train to fight at the level I would be training at. So now, you know, I teach and I coach and I live vicariously through those people that I able to help out. However, I do want to get into like the entertainment industry. I think I have fun being up here and of course hanging out with you. You can't get rid of me. We already went over this.
It is really hard to do.
But I totally enjoy the people I'm around. I love my sport, and I saw Expendables 2, and I was like, that's it. They got to make a 3, and I got to be in it. I'll be the bad girl. It's all good. Just put me in there.
Well, I can definitely hook you up, introduce you to Sylvester Stallone.
That's
there you
true.
go.
He
There you
always
go.
here, always next door.
He can.
You know,
He can do
So
that.
there we go.
he's.
Got to meet Rocky.
Here we go. That's or you can be a host on My Combat Channel.
And there you go. I told you, you just can't get rid of me, can
There
you?
could be future plans. This might be a permanent seat for you.
Oh, man.
So we want to thank you very much for coming in and
Absolutely.
being a part of our show. And I know people watching on My Combat Channel are going to want to see this again. They're going to see you come up again. So you'll come back again, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to do like a move of the day. You know what I mean? Something like that.
That
There
is
you go.
something we have
Move
to
of the
talk about
week.
that. Move of the
Move of the
week.
week. Oh,
And
where's
that'd be a lot
my
of
Let's do
weeks.
that.
All right.
It's done deal.
So once again, folks, thanks for tuning in and watching. On behalf of myself, the Yak Man Ryan Iacovetti, King of the Armbar, Mr. Fabiano Iha, and Janelle Marquez for coming down. You're watching My Combat Channel News. Keep doing it, and we thank you for it.
See you guys soon.